sharing operational services, sharing educational services, and realignment in its many forms. And what we've come up with is a draft report, which we wanted to take out and about again to get more feedback. And that's what we're doing now. So I hope that you've had the opportunity to read it, and if not, I hope this will encourage you to read the draft report. And we'd love to have feedback from you here, and you can also send it in just directly to me or Lynn at my office. And we're very accessible through the website. You can track down lots of ways to get in touch with us. Let me first let members of the commission introduce themselves here. Linda, you want to start?
Okay. Hi, I'm Linda Riley Mitchell from the State Board of Education.
I'm Jerry Harrison with the IEA.
I'm Lynn Haefley with the Lieutenant Governor's Office.
Brett Clark with IASA.
Representative Chad Hayes from 104th District.
And Chad, we very much appreciate because he's a last-minute addition to the commission and has been enthusiastically participating. Despite that, I just love it. Anything from you guys about the process or anything else you want to add before we start off? Okay. Having said that, our job here, I think, is to be more listening than talking. So I will turn it over to all of you for comments, questions, good ideas, complaints, you name it. Sound good?
If anybody has.
Oh, okay. And Crystal actually has people signed up here. Okay, so Crystal, fill us in on. It'll be okay, I promise. Oh, shoot, and should we do your?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, can I actually have you sit down for just a minute because I forgot one thing.
You can.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Lynn has prepared a PowerPoint that outlines in a little bit more detail some of what is in our draft report, and I think that might be helpful to get a little bigger picture on what's going on. Does that sound good?
Okay.
All right.
Sounds
Thanks.
Good. All right. And let's see, Crystal, is she in position? Oh,
I'm in position.
Okay. All right. Well, the Lieutenant Governor gave the appropriate overview of what we've been up to, but this is just for those of you that hadn't been following the process maybe since the beginning, and also just to sort of give you a broad overview of the groups of recommendations that we have. So first of all, let's look at our legislative charge. We are asked in the legislation that set up this commission to address where consolidation or realignment would be beneficial, how to reduce duplication of efforts and thus save some money. Of course, look at ways to improve education for students, lower property tax burdens, find cost savings for the state, and provide input to districts on reorganization issues. And then the commission itself, when we first met last fall, set a couple of goals that are really very broad but encompass those other things. One is that focus on improving educational opportunity, and the second is to improve efficiency. So keeping those in mind throughout the process, we ended up organizing our work with those two goals in mind. Thank you. Okay, so we have been working our way through 3 stages. The first stage was last fall, where we looked at all kinds of research. We crunched a lot of Illinois data. In fact, we have some of Linda's staff from the State Board of Education who have spent many busy hours at the computer crunching data for us. And so we wrapped that up in December. We also did a round of public hearings. We had a website where people could submit all kinds of suggestions for those 2 goals. And so we ended up issuing a first report in January, and that's still available on our website. Stage 2 then began, where we broke into work groups to develop these draft recommendations, and actually on Tuesday we launched into stage 3, where we're going to listen to folks again and then move forward towards a final set of recommendations. In stage 1, it's impossible to put in one slide everything we learned, but here's a shot at a few important points. One is that consolidation is occurring around Illinois. It's been occurring slowly but steadily for a long time. But it's not possible to say what the optimum number of school districts would be for the state or how big a school district should be. There's just no good formula for that, and different states have different policy environments, and different localities have different situations, so it's really not possible. There's also no one-size-fits-all mechanism to achieve the highest level of efficiency. That might also be an individual situation. We also found that consolidation doesn't always save money. Some of you may have been involved in feasibility studies in the past, and sometimes the feasibility study says this is not going to save money. In fact, it might cost money. So it goes in different directions in different situations. If there were a mass consolidation at this point in time, given our current laws and current monetary incentives, it would be a very prohibitive cost. And then finally, the Commission has come to the conclusion that realignments should be considered on a case-by-case basis. So that's kind of the real nutshell version of what we learned. We did realize from the research and from the public input that there are really three major approaches to efficiency. One is realignment, where districts actually form a new entity. Then there's collaboration across districts, and we always kind of joke about our little stars holding hands. Those are districts collaborating. And then there's in-district efficiency, where individual districts can find ways to save and to improve their educational offerings. So with those three in mind, we might think about realignment then. Can you click, Crystal? Thanks. Realignment, we can think of from our point of view, is voluntary consolidation. Shared services and shared collaborations across districts we're going to call virtual consolidation. And then in-district efficiency are those things that every district could benefit from doing. So let's just take a brief look at the realignment recommendations. They're in three groups. The first group is ways to reduce barriers for those who have decided that they want to look and study consolidation, or they want to move forward. Sometimes there are barriers in the way that make that hard to do. So these 6 recommendations deal with those. One is to allow non-contiguous districts to consolidate. One is to allow very small districts to petition their local regional board of trustees rather than going to a referendum if they want to do a dissolution. Another recommendation is to create a hold harmless provision so that if dual districts want to form unit districts, they don't lose grant funds in the process. Another dual to unit conversion recommendation is to gradually step down the tax rate to the unit rate from the combined rate, instead of trying to do that all in the first year. The 5th recommendation in this group is to set up a separate reorganization construction program for districts that are just waiting to do this, but they don't have a building that will house the students. And then the 6th recommendation is to allow districts to go ahead, have their referendum vote, say let's say it passes, but they can't build the building that they need, let them delay their actual reorganization until they can build the facility. So those are all barriers that might be lowered and make it easier. The second group of realignment recommendations is to identify those districts that could benefit from realignment. And one recommendation there is to look at counties with low and declining student populations and to help them conduct feasibility and efficiency studies to see if there are some opportunities to be gained that way. And then the last recommendation in this group is to possibly develop some type of district efficiency profile or formula that would help districts compare themselves to each other and to see if they might be candidates for shared services or realignment. And that would be something all districts could look at. So last but not least, I mentioned incentives that are paid so that districts can cover the costs of consolidation. There are 2 recommendations, but they're mutually exclusive. One is to redo the whole incentive structure based on different factors that might possibly be more stable than teacher head counts and things like that. So things like enrollment, geographic area covered, the number of districts that are consolidating together, et cetera. And then finally, if that would not occur, then how about revising or sweetening the current incentives? So these recommendations are just a group that basically say, well, you know, let's calculate GSA possibly a little bit differently, the GSA difference amongst the districts. There are some new ideas like cover just those initial implementation costs with a special fund, something like, you know, paying for all the textbooks that you're going to need to convert to, things like that. A special incentive just for dual district consolidations where the elementary districts combine with the high school districts. That would only be available for that kind of consolidation. A transportation incentive for those districts that might want to consolidate but they know they're going to be pretty geographically challenged. And then finally a special incentive to merge with a high poverty or low performing district, which seems to create some concerns. They have a hard time finding partners for consolidation. Moving right along. We really found a lot of exciting opportunities in the area of shared services. The idea of collaboration to do things better, smarter, cheaper, seems to be a real fertile area for possibilities. So the first group are educational shared services. Much of this really is about P20 collaboration with the community colleges, with other local entities that would be able to smooth the way for students as they move through the system. I won't go through each one of these, but the idea is to help students move as efficiently through the system and effectively in terms of their education, and to have opportunities that maybe an individual school couldn't always provide. And that includes regional service delivery with some of our regional entities. The next group is operational shared services on the, what you might call the back office side of school. And there's a lot going on there. Probably you're familiar with the financial profile that the State Board of Education produces. How about using the data for something other than publishing the list, but maybe use it as a way to help districts that are in financial difficulty to study the opportunities they might have for shared services. So that's one recommendation. Taking all the data that districts submit in terms of their annual financial reports, et cetera, and turning that around into sort of an interactive interface where, I don't know, some of you might have seen the interactive report card where you can find comparison districts and compare on a bunch of different variables. Find districts that are doing better than you are in terms of your operations instead of just your performance. Creating a revolving fund to pay for some of these studies. And you know, it takes a little bit up front to set up a shared service. So with the money you would then save, you pay back this small loan and the fund keeps going for everybody else. Exempting shared services from some statutory restrictions on outsourcing. Creating a sort of a best practice repository, a place where people could file their shared service agreements and everybody wouldn't have to reinvent the wheel if they want to start one. And then finally, a state health insurance pool for those that aren't currently in some kind of a cost-saving pool for health insurance. I know a lot of small districts are excluded sometimes from those pools. So that's that group. And finally, what kinds of things would help every district or could potentially help every district? The first one is a very creative proposal for a 2-year state budget. The idea that everybody could plan better if we knew further ahead. That would take a constitutional amendment, but that is not daunting this commission. Flexibility from mandates when money's not available. That's not a new idea. That's reiterating an idea that's been out there. Professional development, the trend is to put professional development online just in time. There are so many mandated trainings for teachers and other school personnel just now starting to be put online. I know some of our professional organizations are working towards this. This would be to do that on a massive scale to make it much more streamlined and take less time. Resources and tools, sharing best practices basically across districts. encouraging districts to engage in some serious strategic planning, even with their communities and their municipalities, and then finally purchasing statewide those library databases and things that everybody has to go out and buy individually. So some of these are huge, some of these are small, some of these are fast, some of these take longer, but it's a package. And so back to you.
Hey, thank you very much. And I have to say that Lynn did just a fantastic job of setting up the process. The good ideas come from the commission members and all the people across the state who participated. So there's a lot of people to thank for all this information. And now, thanks for your patience and fill us in on your ideas.
And then I don't have to go first.
Exactly.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, my name is Molly Delaney, and I represent Illinois Public Broadcasting, and I'm here on behalf of my station, which is WILL here at Champaign-Urbana, part of the University of Illinois, but also representing public broadcasters from across the state, so PBS stations and NPR affiliate stations from across the state of Illinois. And what I'm here to do is to comment on the initiative for your recommendations and to talk specifically about educational efficiency and effectiveness. So just to lay some groundwork, for 50 years, public broadcasters have been a trusted education partner in Illinois communities, delivering the highest quality instructional services to millions of teachers, students, and families. We help schools, GED programs, prisons, early childhood programs, community colleges, and many local education agencies by providing educational content and professional development services that meet or exceed relevant learning standards. Our digital on-demand educational content supports teachers throughout the state in their classrooms. We reach nearly every person in Illinois through free, non-commercial, over-the-air broadcast. We believe that Illinois public broadcasters have an important role in helping the Commission to achieve its goals in improving educational efficiency and effectiveness. We have the ability to communicate key messages and educate the public through our broadcast resources. Education agencies in many states have already formed partnerships with public broadcasters to deliver curriculum in public school districts. We have invested in classrooms by providing Illinois PBS Learning Media, a free online service for teachers. Illinois PBS Learning Media provides thousands of digital videos and interactives for classrooms, plus audio, photos, in-depth lesson plans, and professional development. This digital teaching and learning resource was piloted this fall by 74 teachers representing 43 districts and 2,548 students in Illinois. And a team of researchers led by Dr. Evangeline Pianfetti here at the University of Illinois College of Education conducted the pilot study and evaluation. And we've actually we've left a packet behind. You can see the full pilot report. There's also the executive summary in there that I encourage you to look at. The study results show that teachers unanimously recommend the service as an effective tool that would recommend it to other educators because of its ease of use, variety and diversity of resources, high quality content, connection with the curriculum, and its ability to engage students. And again, you can find a copy of that report. As of today, there are 2,000 teachers in the state of Illinois who are making use of that service, and the number is growing steadily. So we have only begun to promote it, and even without promotion, there are still 2,000 teachers who are signed up registered users. Illinois public broadcasters support the goals and the process of the Classrooms First Commission and educators throughout the state, particularly in these ways. Number one, to address the educational shared services goal by improving educational opportunities for public school students and recommendation ESS1, flexible P12 learning options. Illinois Public Learning Media provides individualized and highly engaging resources to enhance, expand, and support curriculum. And then number two, to address recommendation ESS2, P20 curriculum alignment, Illinois public broadcasters actively participate in and contribute to the P20 activities, such as the Governor's P20 Council and the Southern Illinois P20 Education Alliance. We commit our investment of time and expertise to P20 efforts throughout the state. Number three, to address recommendation ESS3, P20 learning pathways, many of the Illinois public broadcasters are licensed to institutions of higher education in the state of Illinois and thus have a deep commitment to the academic missions of these institutions. Illinois PBS Learning Media provides learning experiences that are not available to students otherwise in areas such as STEM and technical careers. number 4, and I promise there's only 5. To address recommendation ESS4, technology infrastructure, Illinois Public Media offers teachers and students strategies and content to make intelligent use of technology in the classrooms. Public broadcasters are a logical choice for collaborative partnership in digital media. The state can leverage its educational technology infrastructure with public broadcasting content. And then the final one, to address in-district efficiency recommendations, IDE 3, professional development, and IDE 6, statewide database license. Illinois Public Learning Media can be an effective evergreen resource to help fulfill requirements as they are identified and defined. The public broadcasters of Illinois are grateful for this hearing today and will continue our public service mission of providing high-quality content that educates, informs, and inspires learners of all ages. So again, just really reinforcing that public institutions coming together to be able to support education in the state of Illinois. You know, we're all public institutions. It's time we all pull together to collaborate and bring this out for students and teachers.
Okay. Molly, thank you. Any members of the commission have any questions for Molly? No? Okay. Well, thank you very much. And did you give us, yes, we would love to have a copy so we can share it with the other commission members. Thank you.
And contact information for...
I will leave that as well. But
Very
it's
good.
also in the packet, but I'll leave it
Okay.
as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you just
My
fine.
name's
Thank you.
Dale Hastings. I'm superintendent of schools in Milford Public Schools in Milford, Illinois. If you don't know where we're at, that's okay. We're equidistant between Danville and Kankakee, with Indiana to our border to the east. I printed off all your work today, bound it because I read better like this, and I read the entire thing this afternoon. First, let me compliment you on the work that you've done so far. There's a lot of wonderful ideas and some outside-the-box thinking that has gone into this, and you should be commended for all that you've done. I spoke to you a number of months ago in the first round at Heartland over in Bloomington. Real quick, when I read through this, there's a number of things in here that would help my little district. I am one of 8 dual district superintendents in Illinois. My district's already doing what you're asking districts to do. We already do our teacher training online. We already collaborate with Kankakee Community College and Danville Area Community College. We already have the opportunity for kids to graduate from our high school with their freshman year of college done, because we do all dual credit with our career classes at Danville Area Community College. We've already started a program with Kankakee Community College where we have 3 seniors this year that have been full-time students at KCC, will graduate with a high school diploma and 30 hours of college credit already under their belt. We already have consolidated our superintendency to me, and I do both districts. We have already reduced the intermediate administrative costs that I continue to read about. We already collaborate on a county level with purchasing of paper products and the like. We already meet monthly between Kankakee and Iroquois County are the same regional office of education. So we're connected in that regard. We already have a county special education cooperative. We have a 2-county, Fort Iroquois County preschool grant program that my grade school district is the administrative district for, and now we're looking to segue into Kankakee County and bring some of those people in. So a lot of the things that are in here are really good ideas. We're already doing them. That's why they're good ideas. But just a couple of comments. If you really want this to happen, just a couple of things from practitioner land. Stop messing with everything so we know what's foundation and concrete and what's sand. Because right now, I'm already budgeting for next year. Remember, the budgeting process for me as a superintendent starts when I'm looking at setting the tax levy. So when we're looking at setting the tax levy in December of 11, which is going to run the 12-13 school year. Okay, you guys, I'll get that. You can't be messing around with transportation. I'm a 223 square mile school district. So you can't be saying, well, we're not sure what we're going to do with transportation. How do I plan for that? You can't be doing all these things. So whatever you do, etch it in stone. And I was reading all of the incentives and things, out of the box thinking. It was good stuff. But if you do it, you got to do it. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to talk to all the folks in the General Assembly and say, now guys, out there in practitioner land, we can't say we're going to do this and maybe do it, maybe not do it. If you're going to do it, do it. The second thing is, I know that you're going to allow consolidation, if it happens, to still become a local issue that local school districts make decisions on. I hope that that is a continued practice that we continue in this state, that we don't require that. And I read that you saw that that really doesn't work, and that was one of the findings from the first round, and I really appreciated reading those things. Putting some of these other ideas in place is really going to help some districts, so maybe mine. My district is studying putting both of our little districts together, become a unit district. Why would I do that? Because some years we appropriate the money for the reorganizational incentives, and some years we're not sure that that money is going to be appropriated. It's very difficult for me as a superintendent to mentor 2 school boards, 14 board members, and say, well, I think so, I'm not sure, maybe. See, that gets scary. So those are things. The last thing I'm going to tell you, because I don't want to be long, and I remember the red cards and the green cards from the last time. That was really good.
We went to yellow.
Yeah, I know, there's yellow. Yeah, so I'm trying to be fast. I remember that from last time. Remember this. In general state aid, whenever schools get general state aid, most schools do, there's 3 different ways that you get them, but remember that there's multipliers in there for a unit district, for a grade school district, for a high school district. If you add the 2 together for the grade school and high school district, okay, it's more than the unit district. Are you with me? Mm-hmm. So why do I want to unify my district if the multiplier for the unit district is small? So if you're going to do things, you're going to incentivize, some of those incentives, A, they have to be on concrete. Make sure we're going to get them. Secondly, whatever you do has to be sustainable. So whatever you do, make sure it's something that sustains and it's something we can see that's going to grow us and make us better. You understand? I hope I make my point there, okay? Other than that, I was reading this in my office this afternoon, and there's just some wonderful out-of-the-box thinking. You guys have been great working at this. So if we can stay the course there, if we can have things that we can count on, if there's really an incentive to become a unit district and have the consolidation look, and if those things are in place, then some of these things make a lot of sense for a lot of people, especially the part where we're trying to build a new high school right now, and we're struggling to find how we get the tax base in order to do that and that sort of thing. So moving us to the top, because we're on the 2006 list, there's only $1.2 billion worth of construction grants ahead of us, only. So just $1.2 billion. So I don't know when we're going to get that appropriated, but so with those things in mind, you guys really have done a super job with this. So I hope those things can help you as you move forward and continue to think and plan. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the tax rate piece, which is very important.
Mm-hmm.
There's several spots where that's the case, not just education, it's transportation, a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
So if that barrier was removed, and you could still capture the cumulative effect that you currently capture by having the 2 levies,
Mm-hmm.
you could capture that as a unit, only you'd really be better than a unit, it'd be like unit plus.
Correct.
Would that be,
Yes. I've already done the calculations. Remember, my district, I'm sorry to interrupt, but my district did not want an outside firm. They wanted the superintendent to do the feasibility study, so I'm almost through the feasibility study. And I've already done the calculations. Actually, when you put our 2 levies together, we're still under the levels. You know, we're still under $4 in ed, and we're still under. So for us to be able to do that, where we get hurt, and it's where Dr. Clark was going, where we get hurt is we don't get to put 2 transportations together. See, we lose that tax rate. We don't get to put our 2 nickels together on lease. We lose that nickel. Right. If we can reappropriate that lost money to our ed and to our building, because if we would come together, we're still under in the building levy, we're still under in the ed levy. That would be wonderful.
So one way to look at that would be is if you could take your current 2 levies
Mm-hmm.
and combine those rates.
Correct.
Whatever that came out to be.
Right.
If you have the authority to have that rate as your starting rate, but flexibility inside that rate, instead of us or the state telling you, you can only do a nickel here and a dime here and 24 cents here, wouldn't that make a lot more sense to
Yes.
manage yourself locally?
Yes, it would. A lot more sense. Because you know where your
I
needs are.
wasn't sure. I was just wanting to know what you thought.
No, I was, don't worry. Yeah, it would help immensely. A lot of
I think
flexibility.
that's an important point. And I think
Yeah.
it came up, particularly the transportation piece.
Right.
Because that's a hot topic now.
Mhm.
But the overall tax levy piece is critical.
Correct. And I'll tell you, in the transportation piece, guys, we because we're rural America, 223 square miles, we transport almost every child. So if we get back to where we're not going to do any type of help with transportation, districts like mine will have to do it another way, and you know where that another way is going to be. It's going to be tax rate in some way, whether it's working cash, general obligation, working cash bonds, and you're supplementing or whatever you're doing. But so.
If the tax levy piece was resolved, would there be any other barriers that would prevent your district from moving to a unified district?
Not really. And I'm going to tell you, you know who really wins if we would unify? Because I only have one collective bargaining agreement, not two. I don't have two collective bargaining agents that I'm negotiating with at the same time. I only have one school board, one policy manual, my office especially. I could be the most selfish guy in the world if I wanted to be. So yeah, it would be wonderful.
Because you probably already operate almost as a unit district in many of your processes.
You bet we do, especially when you start talking about scope and sequence of curriculum.
Yeah.
You bet we do. All of our meetings, when we meet as an administrative team, it's both districts together. We don't even think about it really as a dual district.
Yeah.
We're a dual district on paper and legally and in our reporting. Any other?
Thank you.
Yeah, just one.
Yeah.
What percentage of your budgets would you say it's state funded? And how much is local?
Okay, I've got two answers for it, where it's at now and where it's going to be, and I'll tell you why it's going to shift so dramatically. Right now, at our grade school district, the percent that's state funded is 57%, and it's going to drop, and the high school is just over 50, 52 and change. However, well, we had a wind farm just built in our district. It is now online. When we pass our levy this December, remember, I only have an EAV of 54 million. Our EAV is going to, that's what we're, yeah, and it went backwards for a while. And it's going to jump minimally $20 million. So our EAV is going to jump. So what's going to happen is, you know, the first year, you understand how that works, it's the EAV from a year ago, so we'll still get the GSA, and then a year after that, the new AV jumps in, our GSA is going to drop. However, you're still up about 20 to 22 cents on the dollar will still be up. Okay?
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you very much.
What? Yes.
You would support our aggressive recommendation with respect to the two-year budget process, as you talked about, the concrete and the sand and the
Well,
foundation?
when I read that in here, I got goosebumps. Because that was a wonderful idea, if that could really happen. You know, it's almost like accrue accounting, you know, in that regard. So that would be wonderful, because now you can plan and now you can know what's going to happen a little bit in advance, which is what we're doing for our school boards all the time. I'm always giving 3-year projections on revenues, which a lot of people have their hands on our revenue, so those are way iffy. But expenditures, I do the same thing, and I can be fairly accurate with those.
Okay,
Okay? Anything else? Thanks for all
Thank
your
you.
work.
thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
All right.
Hello, mine is 5 minutes if I read it really fast. But Marla's here with me and she's willing to donate extra minutes. So however you want to do it. Do you want to read
Go
slow
for it.
and just take my time? I don't think we're really going to run out of
I think we'll have enough time to hear
Based
from
on your
everyone.
other hearings, it
Yes.
always was tight, but this
Yeah.
is okay. Okay, my name is Shannon Price. I'm from Bushnell, a small town of 3,200 in west central Illinois, about 15 miles northeast of Macomb in McDonough County. On March 20th, 2012, residents of the Bushnell Prairie City School District defeated the proposed consolidation of the Abington, Avon, and Bushnell City School Districts by a vote of 81% to 19%. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to tell you why we just voted no. The reorganization feasibility study for Abington, Avon, and Bushnell Prairie City was conducted in the fall of 2009 by Dr. William Phillips of Midwest School Consultants. The study recommended consolidation of all 3 school districts, with the high school to be located in Bushnell, the junior high or middle school to be located in Abington, and elementary schools to be located in Abington, Avon, and Bushnell. A committee of 10 was formed, and in June 2011, all 3 school boards voted to place the proposal on the March 2012 ballot. The Just Vote No Committee was formed in January 2012 and began what was to become a successful 8-week campaign. According to the Committee of 10, the movement to seek consolidation alternatives by the 3 districts started as a result of 5 major conditions in our education systems today: declining enrollment, increased instructional per pupil expenses, the impact on curricular opportunities, the uncertainty in state and federal funding, and discussions on consolidation occurring at the state level. The Committee of 10 stated that the proposed consolidation would provide new opportunities for all 3 districts that could not be realized by the districts standing alone. However, the Committee of 10 recommended that 17 certified positions in grades 9 through 12 be eliminated in areas that may be overstaffed due to the merging of 3 separate programs into one. Given the elimination of 6 certified positions in career and technical education, for example, the number of teachers in the proposed consolidated high school with a projected enrollment of 540 would have been reduced to 1 ag education teacher, 2 business ed teachers, and 1 industrial education teacher, the same number of teachers currently at BPC High School with its enrollment of 235. According to the reorganization feasibility study, the increased cost for transportation in scenario 1, in which the districts reorganize and form 1 high school, would be countered by the reduction in administrative and instructional cost. However, the proposed consolidated school district would have covered approximately 317 square miles, making it the 13th largest in Illinois. The increased transportation cost included the hiring of an additional 3 full-time bus drivers, as well as 2 part-time employees, including a new transportation manager. The purchase of a new computer program to aid in the development of a new transportation plan. The purchase of 4 to 6 84-passenger transit buses, and 2 to 4 activity buses. The purchase of cameras to be installed on all buses to assist drivers with rules enforcement. In essence, the proposed consolidated school district would have required the hiring of bus drivers and the firing of teachers, which would have compromised the ability of the consolidation to provide an enhanced curriculum. Given that fuel costs are expected to increase and state support for transportation is expected to decrease, it would have been fiscally irresponsible for the BPC school district to consolidate with Avon and Abington, when the benefits were non-existent and the cost in terms of time, money, and safety were excessive. If the current certified staff at BPC High School could have offered the students at Avon High School the same broad curriculum as the proposed consolidated high school, why did the reorganization feasibility study recommend the 3-way? That's why we called it the 3-way. The study referenced the 1985 Illinois State Board of Education study on school district organization that found there was evidence that students in hundreds of very small districts were receiving a significant loss in opportunity to learn when the courses available to them are compared to those available to students in high schools with enrollments of over 500 pupils. Feasibility studies that set an unrealistic goal of 500 students per high school and state incentives that entice rural school districts into a never-ending cycle of consolidations lead to abandoned schools and devastated communities. Rural school districts in the 21st century need to look to distance learning technology and to virtual consolidations that allow school districts to share people and resources without the tremendous waste of time and money required to transport students to consolidated schools outside their communities. That's why we just voted no. Since the election, we have formed a new committee, BPC Best, which embraces the belief that a community must be involved in their children's education. Our goal is to bring together BPC's community of parents, grandparents, and all that wish to be involved, along with our teachers, administrators, and school board, to make BPC one of the best school districts in Illinois. You can find us at Facebook at BPC Best, building communities, educating children, supporting teachers and schools. Together, we can make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Questions?
Okay, no. And if you could, if you have a copy of that you could leave with us so we can make sure the other commissioners get to benefit from your ideas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Your comments are noted for the record. Anyone else? Crystal? Anyone else not signed in that wants to have something to say? All right. Well, I sure appreciate everyone being here, and there are lots of ways to get in touch with us, particularly to get in touch with me. We have a website. We have offices in Chicago, Springfield, and Carbondale, and I'd love to hear from you, particularly if a great idea strikes you on the way home from here that you really should have said here, pass it along. All right? Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, commissioners. And you didn't have to go down.